What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the High Tempo Sports Podcast. And today is a very, 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 very special episode. It is episode 200 of the High Tempo Podcast. And if you did not listen to our podcast a few episodes ago, Easton, I'll let you break the news.
Yeah, today is my last official podcast as the co-host of this podcast. I might be on occasionally here and there,
yeah.
But
I'll make you come back.
Yeah.
Sure.
As like the actual spot on, Easton is the co-host. Today is my last official episode. It is time for me to lock in to coaching, and now I'm back to being more of a full-time student, doing a lot more schoolwork, and it's just a little more for me to handle and trying to just focus on what I'm going to do for a career in life. But this was awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. We'll talk more about it at the end.
Definitely, yeah. And so,
final send off.
Yeah, and at the end, I'm gonna kind of give my plan going forward with the podcast. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think I have some sort of a schedule figured out for the future of the podcast because I didn't know if I wanted to keep doing it. Honestly, I don't there's no one else like you to be we had no one has the same chemistry like you and I do. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So I was like, do I even want to keep doing this? But we'll talk about that at the end. We got freaking sports to talk about.
We got sports to talk about.
Just because this is the last episode doesn't mean we're doing some special
non-sports episode.
Exactly.
This is still the High Tempo Sports podcast.
And I think we are kind of forgetting what day it is. It is NFL Eve today, as tomorrow, we're recording this on Wednesday, not at night, actually. We're recording this during the afternoon. Tomorrow, the Lions take on the Kansas City Chiefs. First game of the NFL season. I am so beyond hyped. It is pretty crazy.
The hype has gotten to a point where it doesn't even feel like hype anymore because it's turned into something else.
Yeah.
There's something inside me that has been building all summer for this moment, and I cannot wait. I might not be able to sleep tonight. The same way when I was a kid and I was 8 years old and I couldn't sleep before Christmas Eve or on Christmas Eve.
Right.
NFL Eve is the new Christmas Eve for me as I've gotten older.
Except you don't just get to wake up in the morning and there it is. You have to wait all day long. That's what I'll be fine tonight, but tomorrow, I have 2 classes tomorrow. I got to work tomorrow. I have a interview thing I have to do tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to focus at all. Dude.
Me either.
No shot. I might have to skip class.
I'm going to be checking every 10 minutes for Travis Kelce updates and what's going on there.
We actually might get one during this podcast because they said that they were going to come out with the injury report after their practice today.
Okay.
So keep on the lookout. You would get a notification about it, I would assume. So keep on the lookout for that. But yeah, Lions, Chiefs tomorrow. Quickly, before we keep this talk going, this episode mainly is going to be our top 25 players in the NBA. That is this episode. But we need to obviously talk about the Lions first. So back to Lions talk. Yeah, you broke the news. Travis Kelce. We found out about this yesterday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
It was Monday.
2 days ago, yeah. That Travis Kelce suffered at first it was a hyperextended knee. And now it has been officially ruled as a bone bruise. And then they said that today they were going to give out the injury report at practice, but I think he's currently doubtful is where the state he's at. Hasn't been ruled out yet, but this could be very, very crucial for this Lions-Chiefs game. Before we talk about anything about what it changes for the Lions, before what it changes for the Chiefs, I want to get your opinion on this because we talked about this on the radio this morning. By the way, 8 a.m. Wednesdays, 101.1 The Beat. Tune in. Morning radio show. We talked about this. Are you one of the Lions fans that are Travis Kelce's out, hell yeah, we need to try and win, and that gives a better chance of winning? Or are you one of the Lions fans that's I would rather him play because I want to play the real Chiefs?
Yeah, I don't care whether or not Travis Kelce plays.
Okay, thank you.
I could not care less. Because at the end of the day, whether Travis Kelce plays or not, it doesn't affect how we get into playoffs.
Right.
We get into playoffs with numbers in that first column. And if Travis Kelce is out, we have a much realer chance of putting a number in that win column.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not give a shit that Travis Kelce is out.
Yeah, and it's
even
like,
even if we were going into a Super Bowl and
Oh,
we are
yeah.
playing.
I think it's way different for the Super Bowl. Going to the Super Bowl, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I think everyone is like that.
Like I'd be okay playing the practice squad of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
If a sickness went around.
Okay.
And they were like,
That might be a little far.
I'm just saying.
But yes, I understand.
Like I do.
Yeah.
That is. If you're a Lions fan who thinks that we need to be challenged in this, no, we need wins.
Yeah.
Wins get us to the playoffs. That's all we care about. All
And my
year.
cousin Jared texted me during the show this morning when we were doing that. Shout out to my cousin Jared. And he said we were a half game out of making the playoffs last year. I don't care. It's a win is a win. Totally agree with the win is the win standpoint. I do kind of like see all of us agree that we were on that side of things.
Good.
But I do understand some of the Lions fans saying, like, I would like for Kelce to play because, if the Lions are serious about being contenders, we just got put up against the Super Bowl champs week 1. Like, so we got to, like, go out and see what this team is capable of. I would love to see how C.J. Gardner-Johnson does against – he's, like, the perfect guy to match up against Kelce,
It's beautiful.
So I understand, like, I get that, but just because I get that doesn't mean I would rather have Kelce playing. That's too far,
For sure.
If it comes down to what he is or he's not playing, I'm going he's not 10 times out of 10. 100 out of 100.
The fact that we might get so lucky that Chris Jones and Travis Kelce both don't play
Yeah, dude.
against the Super Bowl champs, and that is number 2 and 3 best player on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We might just get to avoid them.
Something I didn't think about is now that Kelsey's out, what if the Chiefs are like, all right, we got to bite the bullet. We got to pay Chris Jones. We can't afford to have them both out. And they pay him in 24
And he
hours
plays
before the
tomorrow.
game. Yeah. Maybe Nick Bosa just got paid, so I don't know if that's going to influence the market at all. He literally just got paid like 2 minutes before we started this podcast. So obviously they're a little bit different positions, so that it's not going to be the same. But yeah, let's talk about how this changes the game though for the Lions, because Patrick Mahomes never lost in week 1. He is like, his stats as a week 1 QB are phenomenal. I think he's thrown
Unreal.
for 300 yards every single time. I saw them this morning. But he is like that dude week 1. And in September, he's that dude in general. But all those games he had Travis Kelce in. Most of those, I think almost all those games he had Chris Jones in too, as to help with the defense. So when he's got the weapons of Jerick McKinnon, Kadarius Toney, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, Sky Moore, any other QB with those weapons are like, well, they're screwed. Like, they're totally screwed against this good Lions team. But it's Patrick Mahomes. So I'm really interested to see what the Chiefs are going to do, because their offense changed a lot last year without Tyreek Hill. But I don't think Travis Kelce missed a game last year.
I don't think he did either.
I don't think he misses games in general.
Yeah,
He just be
doesn't-
playing.
He doesn't really get lit up ever. Rarely.
No.
I mean, he got lit up that one time.
Yeah.
By that. Do you remember that?
Oh
play?
yeah, Derwin James when he
Yeah.
he suplexed him. Yeah.
But Travis Kelce doesn't get lit up very often.
But he just don't even really get hurt.
Yeah.
If he
Especially
gets
for
hurt,
how
he's
old he
out for
is.
a game. Yeah. So we haven't really seen Mahomes without Kelce and Tyreek Hill, literally ever. So I know it's just for one game, but it happens to be against our team. So that we have to really dive into this. The line has been moved a little bit since this all started. 2 days ago, actually yesterday morning, up until when this game was introduced until yesterday morning, Lions have been 6.5 point underdogs for the longest time. Randomly gets moved from 6.5 to 5.5 yesterday. Obviously, a lot more people are starting to bet on the games now that it's finally here. And then it's still, at this current moment, it's still 5.5 on FanDuel, but DraftKings have moved it up to 4.5. So the Travis Kelce being out, if he officially gets ruled out, I would assume FanDuel changes their line too. Mm-hmm. But there's the Lions still being 4 to 5.5 point underdogs. It really shows how much they are confident in Mahomes, man.
Yeah. And in all honesty, Travis Kelce being there, no question, it helps. But to see a Patrick Mahomes just not care where he's putting the football and just go out there and make the best play every time is a scary thought.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes might rush for 80 yards and throw for 300. He might do something. He might have a crazy week 1 with 4 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes this week, I don't feel safe. I don't feel any safer that Travis Kelce is out with the Chiefs. I don't feel that offense got, and it did get worse.
Low key, I'm like almost more scared just for what's going to happen after the game. Like national media Friday morning, it's either going to be the Lions beat the Chiefs without Kelsey and Chris Jones. Duh. Yeah. Everyone would have done that, you know?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, or it's going to be, oh my God, the Lions couldn't even beat the Chiefs without Kelsey or Chris Jones. Like, it's kind of like a lose-lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to be about the Lions. It's just going to be about, like, the Chiefs or whatever. But
for sure.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared for that. But without Chris Jones, like I talked about, I think that's such a huge hit. The run game between the tackles is just going to be everywhere. Jared Goff is probably not going to have an absurd amount of pressure on him. And even when he does, he was really good against pressure last year. And then defensively, we're just able to make even more plays. We're probably able to blitz a little bit more.
For sure.
I mean, it's Mahomes, so you don't want it. You want to try to continue to throw him different looks. But without Travis Kelce sitting in the middle of the field, that gives C.J. Gardner-Johnson a little bit more flexibility to kind of roam around where he is really effective.
Yeah, be the weapon, be the free guy who just kind of, absolutely roams is the right word. I did want to get into this. You were mentioning the FanDuel the other day. I was trying to sign up.
Yeah.
Right, I'm trying to get in.
Oh, are you like Jack?
I don't exist.
You're not a human?
I don't exist.
Oh, wow.
You are sitting, like, the plane video? That is not real. I was in the plane.
That's you.
Big reveal. I was the one. I was the not real one on the plane. She was right.
You're just like Jack, dude. That's so weird. Like yesterday, so we're starting at work this like thing where we randomly get assigned an NFL game every week, and we got to throw $5 on a bet from that game.
Gotcha.
And by the end of the year, we'll see like who's up, who's down. Like it'll just be a fun thing. And we're like, Jack, like you got to join it. He would love to do that. He was like, yeah, I still can't bet. Like I don't exist. I can't get on any sports books.
Me and him are. Where is the local
Colby's
public
like that
records?
Too. Colby can't bet either. He's Caesar Sportsbook. You should be able to bet on.
Bet I'll try it.
That's the one that ESPN uses. But
it was when and it keeps telling you go to your local public records holder. Where is that? I've been living here my whole life and don't know where our
is that like the Social Security?
Is that the Secretary of State?
That's what I meant. Yeah. Social Security.
I know what you meant. But like I think so.
Maybe I have no clue what that means.
Me either, because they're like maybe you're because I even I got in touch with the customer support. I was talking to Brian.
Yeah, I would too.
Brian was trying to help me. He's like, hey, maybe are you sure you exist? He said double check.
Yeah.
Touch yourself 3 times. Make sure you exist.
Okay, pause.
Pause.
Like, did you have to send him your ID and stuff, just to prove?
No, because he was already the only way we can register you is with your local public registry information. So if it is not up to date or match your driver's license, why is I'm doing everything exactly as it says my driver's license. Why would that be any different? Than local.
You need a birth certificate, Yeah, that's
it's
really
frustrating.
Weird.
So I just might run over to the Nino today.
Yeah,
just make a 6 stupid parlays.
I got all of my NFL future bets out of the way the other night. Jahmyr Gibbs, Rookie of the Year, locked it in.
So easy.
And then I made a few bets for the game. I had to hammer. They have a profit boost on FanDuel right now. This is not a promo either. It's just the one I use. But they have a profit boost on FanDuel right now for Thursday's game specifically. Had to hammer the Lions money line. Like I'm not making no Chiefs bets whatsoever tomorrow night.
The Chiefs won't have a good game ever. I mean, there won't be one guy with 20 yards.
They won't have a good game ever. Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't do that. And so did you do? Are you gonna take the line too, the money line?
Yeah, that's what I did. I took Lions money line.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and then I made a parlay as well, which I'm not so confident in it hitting, but it's no sweaty. So
I would love to run through it. I want to hear what is this parlay?
It's David Montgomery 50 rush yards, David Montgomery anytime touchdown. Because if I had to pick one guy from the Lions to score a touchdown, I think I would go with him.
If I was to do first touchdown scorer, it's David Montgomery.
Jared Goff 200 yards, just played it. I did a lot of alternates. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 50 receiving yards. His line is 80.5 or something, which is just
didn't he have
quite high.
He had that streak though for a long time of 10 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, a crazy streak of that. But it's week 1. You never know what's gonna happen in week 1. And then the fifth thing was Jahmyr Gibbs, 25 receiving yards. So
that's money. That's money. I'm rooting for you. I'll be thinking
plus
about
600.
it.
So we'll see what happens. I'll tune back in next episode and let you guys know if it hits. So. All right, is that good for Lions talk? Actually, score prediction. Need a score prediction.
Oh, this is the word. This is a disaster. Let's go 35-31 Lions.
Okay, I like that. That's a good
I think
one.
that's a good number.
I think it's going to be a little bit more low scoring than expected. I'm going to go 23-21 Lions.
Man, that's 70 points. That's a lot of points.
There's a lot of points. Over-under is like 52.5.
Yeah, but dude, we had the worst defense in the league
And
last
it's
year.
Chiefs
And the
versus
Chiefs,
Lions.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
it should be a shootout. Why wouldn't it be?
Because Travis Kelce's not playing.
And what do you think the NFL script wrote? What do you think the script writers wrote?
Totally.
They wrote
Go
a big
Lions.
game.
Go Lions tomorrow. Okay, let's get into this list. The last of we did our 5 positional rankings throughout the summer, and it brought us to this here list here. I hate doing this list because it just like sucks to do. Plus, like I screenshotted our list from last year, but like I'm recording it, so I don't even have it anymore. So who cares?
Who cares?
All I know is you had Jokic like 6th, and I had him 2nd, which is just I thought that was like the funniest.
Yeah, that's a big discrepancy.
Okay, but yeah, top 25 players in the NBA. It is that time. We don't need to go into depth on all of these guys. Maybe more towards the top we will. But the bottom isn't that crazy. Did you have any big names that missed your list?
Yeah, I did. So my honorable mentions were just the first guy from each position list that missed.
Oh, okay.
Because I used my position list to make it, but I didn't stick to my position list.
I
this
switched,
year.
I think, 2 things on mine. I was just like,
and we switched the same guy.
when I was sitting there, I was just like, man, he ain't that.
Did Anthony Edwards climb your list?
Oh, no, he actually didn't.
Oh, he jumped mine.
No, he
but
did
I
not.
think Ant was higher on yours than he was on mine.
Yeah, probably.
But my honorable mentions: Brandon Ingram missed it. Kristaps Porzingis, Zion Williamson didn't make my top 25. Bradley Beal and De'Aaron Fox was the hardest guy to leave off.
Really?
He's
No
first guy
Fox.
off.
Okay. My first 5 off. James Harden, not in the top 25, man. That is a weird thing
Oh my
to
gosh,
say.
James Harden is not in my top 25, and I didn't even think about like the fact that he was
So he's not
below
even top
Fox.
30.
Yeah, he was below Fox in the ranking.
That's crazy. Oh, yeah, James Harden, Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zion Williamson, and Karl Anthony Towns are my big ones. Oh, and Pascal Siakam, too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't even write him down, but I know he
These
missed.
lists suck, man.
They really
We're
do.
not having fun.
We don't like doing this. Like,
No.
Yeah, but
It won't happen again.
We're just doing it just to do it. So,
We do it for y'all.
all right, let's get into it. 25. Yeah, 25.
Yeah, my number 25 is Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, Mr. Spam, double tap square. We're spin moving all day through that lane, but
Hey,
he's a beast.
2K drops tomorrow, man.
Yes,
Or
sir.
Friday. Be ready. What a crazy couple days we got. This weekend is nuts, dude. Lions Thursday, 2K Friday, college football Saturday, FIBA World Championship game Sunday in the morning, and then football.
I didn't
Oh my
even know
God.
who won today.
Germany won the first game, and then Canada beat Slovenia. So it's
Handedly, or was it close?
No, it was close. Well, no, not like the Germany game was really close. The Canada ended up winning by like 15.
Gotcha.
Luka and Dylan Brooks both got ejected. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's-
what a great strategy from Canada.
U.S. versus Germany in the semifinal Friday morning, and then right after it is Canada versus who was the other team that won? They won this morning,
I
or
have
they?
no idea.
I can't remember.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
You're much more in tune with it. But Spicy P, where does he play?
Serbia. It's Serbia. That's
Gotcha.
the other team. So
Which is who?
Uh,
Jovic?
Jovic, Bogdanovic. There's another guy too.
It should be Jokic, correct?
Yes, Jokic
Yeah,
should also be there, but he's not, and they're in the semifinals, so that's pretty
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. You just said Siakam. Where does he play?
Yeah.
He like in the FIBA.
Yeah.
He's not playing in it, but I think he's from the Cameroon. Same
Yeah, I
as
think that's right.
Same as Joel Embiid.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Your knowledge of where guys are from is crazy.
Well, FIBA helps a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
It definitely does.
Except a lot of them are fakers. Like, where does Eric Gordon play right now?
Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
Uh.
The Dominican Republic? Does he
Oh
play the
yeah,
DR?
yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah, he's DR. How's that fake?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Like,
I have no clue.
like maybe Paulo Banchero not playing for
like,
Italy.
like how does Paulo how does that
he's
even make
born
sense?
and raised
though?
in the U.S. though,
And
like
that-
he just has Italian descent.
So isn't that what Eric Gordon is doing? He was born and
Probably.
raised in the U.S.
So
but
is
is just
Karl
gonna
Anthony
go play.
Towns. Like he's playing for the DR because of his mom, because she was from the DR.
And I guess that's actually cool.
Kyle Anderson playing in China. You know, he obviously
Yeah.
like wasn't born in China.
I think that's much cooler in all honesty.
Yeah,
that,
probably
like,
is.
because that it is much cooler. It makes the other team so much more interesting.
And Banchero got his revenge today.
I saw
yesterday on Team Italy.
The signs.
They destroyed them, dude.
Shut up, Wallow.
Yeah.
Dude's balling.
Okay, my number 25 is Domantas Sabonis of the Sacramento Kings. I really don't have much else to say.
This list is just crazy.
Was Sabonis on your list?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
A lot higher though, just because, and a lot of it is due to how our position rankings go.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like, it's more tiered. These are much more. You could break them up into
totally,
tiers,
and it'd be way more fun to do tiers because it's less like this guy's better than this guy. You know, it's actually you can have a better conversation. With
like
everything.
24 through 5 could all be changed for me. I'm kidding.
I was like,
kidding.
whoa, that's crazy.
But like my 24, I hate that he's here, but I ranked him low because he didn't play much. My 24 is Ja Morant. And it's like crazy because he was so good at times last year. But like, I don't even know. I don't like this list. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done.
My number 24 is Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram and I really tried to actually not to, because you said Anthony Edwards was the guy that really climbed your list. I tried my hardest for FIBA to not influence this that much because Anthony Edwards is obviously shining over in FIBA. But a guy like Ja Morant, if he's playing in FIBA, he probably is doing the same. He's probably going crazier, you know? So I tried for it to not influence that much. Ingram is a guy that's the opposite. Ingram was a guy that, like, I thought I was going to have him really high. Dude has been, shadowed in FIBA. Like, he hit the bench on a team. Like, Josh Hart starts over him. Pretty crazy. But Ingram is still, I still think he's one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Have him on this list over Zion Williamson, so I obviously think he's better than him. He's number 24.
Yeah, a success story for Brandon Ingram would have been if he would have played the Ant role this year, more of a point forward, and let Ant play a little more off ball for FIBA.
Coming into FIBA, it was a conversation like who's the best guy, and I think the actual team did a vote, and they voted that Jaren Jackson Jr. was like the best player on the team, which is cool. Like
that's cool.
Yeah,
he plays defense.
But I was like, it's got to be Brandon Ingram, right? Like he's like the star. Like, and it was him and Anthony Edwards. You know, it was definitely like a who's gonna be more. But it's clearly Ant, and like Ingram's not even like second, third, fourth. Like he's down the list.
Clearly, Ingram is not an off-ball player. We've learned that in his career. Don't put the guy off ball.
Yeah.
If you want him to be successful, just give him the ball.
Yeah,
get out of his way.
Very true.
We saw it happen in LA. He was kind of more of an off ball. Alonzo dominated a lot of ball handling. In New Orleans, he does a lot of the ball handling.
And he's good though.
Yeah, he's great at playmaking.
He really is. It's just this U.S. team has a lot of playmakers that are pass first. He's kind of like a shot first playmaker.
For sure.
So
absolutely, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
My 23 is Trey Young. He had a super disappointing season defensively. Just wasn't great, and his scoring and shooting the ball wise just wasn't incredible, and not where you expect Trey Young to be. And in a league like we are in today, you don't just kind of get to sit where you were last year. If you have a bad year, you got to move. There's somebody jumped you. Somebody had a better year than you.
Right.
Did it get darker in here?
Yeah, that light just kind of like did some weird stuff. Yeah, that was really
darker
weird.
in here.
My number 23 is Bam Adebayo. I think that this list is really weird because Bam is like my only big man until like the top 10s. Like this
From here
list
on
is
out.
like this list is so guard heavy.
It's so guard.
But Bam Adebayo, you know, he was the second best player on a team that went to the finals last year. We know what he's capable of. It's just that offensive game is a bit wishy-washy here from time to time, but we know what he brings defensely.
For sure, just super inconsistent.
Yeah. I'm gonna check the video really quick just to make sure it doesn't look
just
weird.
with the weather that's going on right now in here, the sun, the cloud cover. My number 22 is Karl Anthony Towns, currently playing for the Dominican Republic, and he's just a baller. I mentioned on the podcast when we discussed him, I think Karl Anthony Towns was the most mistreated superstar of in a long time in this Timberwolves.
Right.
I don't understand paying a guy to be your superstar and bringing in another guy and saying, "Hey, now you change your game." I don't understand that. I think it's a illogical way to build a team. You don't bring in you don't tell LeBron to adjust to somebody's play style. Everybody adjusts to how LeBron plays.
Right.
It should be the exact same way not the exact same, but similar with Cat.
Yeah, I mean,
when you bring in a new guy that is not been a part of your franchise, you don't tell your star franchise player to say, "Hey, we need you to take a back seat and do things differently than what you've done in the past."
Yeah.
I just don't think that's the right way to do it. So I think I think he's higher than where you would have had him,
Right.
because of that situation.
Yeah, no, and I still am a big fan of Cat. I just like
he didn't have a great year.
Yeah, he didn't have a great year, and I just have a lot of guards on my list. Like I said, like he was one of my top guys off. Like he's still one of the best bigs in basketball, and it must have just been the sunlight because it just got like brighter in here again.
It must have been cloud cover. It must have been.
It was the weather.
It was.
But yeah, I think and I'm right back in on the Minnesota train this year. I think I've already told you that, but, dude, I'll explain more later.
Choo choo.
My number 22, right?
Yeah, 22.
My number 22 is De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox had he was the clutch player of the year or whatever last year. One of the best seasons out of a guy that just took a leap last year. Finally making his first All-Star game, leading the Kings to the playoffs. Him and Sabonis are one of the more fun offensive duos in the NBA. And Fox shot the ball well last year. He's so difficult to guard coming downhill. And he's my number 22.
My number 21 is Bam Adebayo. I don't know if I've ever said this on this podcast, but he has really fast feet.
Yeah. I think you have.
I think I've said it every time we've ever talked about Bam. Yeah, Bam.
My number 21 is Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is why I'm high on the Minnesota Timberwolves, because Anthony Edwards is taking that leap.
He's him.
I don't think it's unrealistic that Anthony Edwards is going to take a jump from, I think he averaged 23 last year. Like, that's a 26, 27 next year. I really do believe that. He's a guy that plays in every game that he can. He's a very durable player. And Karl-Anthony Towns was out a lot last year. I understand that him and Rudy Gobert together on the floor weren't the greatest duo, but I think you'd rather have that than what they had going on there. So I think that Minnesota is a playoff team for sure next year, like a non-play-in team. I think they're a top 6 team in the West, hopefully. But it's not to do with Cat and Rudy Gobert. It's to do with Anthony Edwards taking that All-NBA leap next year.
Yeah, I respect that. I think with an Anthony Edwards jump and scoring everything, I think we could actually see Gobert minutes diminish.
Cool.
I think you'd like to open up the paint and allow Ant to really, really get to work. That's one of the issues with Rudy Gobert is you kind of have to. I mentioned you shouldn't design a team around him, but he feels like you almost have to because of the style of player he is and how unique he is.
And also, Anthony, one really underrated thing about Anthony Edwards, I know he ain't been passing for shit in this FIBA World Cup. He just be shooting. What a great teammate he is. Mm-hmm. Every time someone talks bad about one of his teammates, he is the first dude to back him up and be like, no. Like when Karl-Anthony Towns was talking crazy this offseason saying he's the best shooting big man ever, Anthony Edwards was the first guy to be like, yeah, he is. He totally is. Whether he believes it or not, he's backing up his boy. All the Rudy Gobert talk, he backs that up. So that's one underrated thing about Anthony Edwards. He's as much as you'd think he would be this cocky guy, he's really not.
It's what he gave off when he first came to the league. He gave off this, and he literally would say this: "I can do everything. I'm the
yeah.
If I went and played baseball, I'd be the best in the world." That's his mindset. And he came off as man, this guy doesn't even know. It doesn't even feel like he has the mindset to be this great. And it was oh wait, everybody loves that. Everybody that ever talks to him or talks about him, he's this great person and a great personality to be around. We see walking out of the tunnel, he's telling Austin Reeves, "You're him, man. You're him." Yeah. And you can't not like Ant at this point. He's got such a big smile, and he's really embraced his superstardom. I think he has done it extremely well.
Definitely.
Boom.
Into the top 20.
We're through 5.
Let's go. This is where things start to get a little bit trickier.
My number 20 is Kyrie Irving. One of the most skilled basketball players. I don't know where he stands because we got to take into account defense. We got to take into account. I need to see him play real playoff basketball now for me to really understand.
Some years.
It's been a while since we've seen Kyrie, and that's where I can really take it. Let's say him and Luka made a deep run this year. Kyrie would take a massive jump.
Yeah,
but it's I don't know what we've got anymore.
Yeah, he really hasn't played
everything
playoff basketball since. Because was he in that Nets series when they got swept by Boston 2 seasons ago in the first round when Boston went to the finals? Can't remember if he played in that series or not.
I can't remember.
That was
playing,
when Harden got traded. So Harden was gone off the team. But I really can't remember.
And
then
KD
the year before he played in the first round they played against Boston that years too. Played in that series, but then got hurt in the Milwaukee series. So we really haven't seen a deep playoff Kyrie run since since Cleveland. I mean, the Boston's they made it to the second round. I think he was hurt in that too.
No, yeah, they made it to the conference finals.
Yeah, they made it without
him.
Yeah, that's right. So he really ain't been playing in the playoffs.
And that's why we had him ranked so high for so long, was he was a playoff performer in the clutch. He would come down the wire. For those years with Braun, Kyrie there were people doing
to Kyrie,
They were doing the Kyrie Steph debate for a little bit. Like, that was a thing in the finals. It should have never. It's not a real thing. It's always been Steph. But you're absolutely right. It was at times. It was, give it to Kyrie. LeBron, pass it.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. My number 20 is Ja Morant. I just feel like both of us are just criminally low here on Ja Morant. But it's where we had him in the position ranking, so I got to respect it. I've continued to talk about this, but like, I just think the whole Ja Morant situation is taken away from how good he is at basketball. Like, he is so good at hoops, dude. He is so fun to watch. He's so electric. He is an MVP caliber player. But it's a lot of people just kind of forget about that with all this stuff going on. And I've really underrated the Grizzlies going into the past several seasons. I've thought they're going to take a step back. They don't. They're the 2 seed every year, basically. I know they lost in the first round last year, but adding Marcus Smart is definitely going to be a nice addition to that team to kind of be there while Ja Morant is out. And I think that they're going to have another good year next year for sure.
Look at this team to be the team that makes a deep playoff run that teams don't expect. This team could be really scary next year, fully healthy. Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson, another year under his belt. This team is built really, really well for the future, other than their off the court.
I just wonder, like I assume like Smart, Ja, and Bain all start together, right?
That's a tiny
It's
lineup,
pretty small.
man.
Like,
Bain is like 6'5".
Bain's definitely like a feisty defender. Like, he definitely like tries defensively, and he's like big too.
He's got them T-Rex
but
arms.
he's like 6'4" with a negative wingspan.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have him out there guarding Braun.
But you got Jaren.
Yeah, you got Jaren. But like, who's guarding the big forward on the Jaren ain't guarding him.
No, you might start small.
Like, you got to start Steven Adams not starting anymore, right?
Yeah, you got to do an athletic 4, but who is
Brandon Clark?
He can't guard Tatum's of the world. He can't guard these guys.
I
don't know.
Santi Aldama, he been balling in FIBA.
Maybe Smart really plays a backup 1 role.
Smart actually he will just guard
facts.
them.
Yeah.
Because he does that. He guarded KD the whole playoffs that series. Yeah.
Great point. And he's great at it.
Yeah,
it's actually crazy to watch.
Never mind. We just forgot about him. Okay.
My number 19 is Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He took a jump. Originally, I had him below Kyrie in the positions ranking. I just bumped him right up, and I kept them right next to each other. Shout out Anthony Edwards, FIBA, Beast, Young, Monster. That's Michael Jordan.
Wow, that's like a poem right there. That was like slam poetry. Beast on the court. Okay, my number 19 is Trey Young. Yeah, Trey Young is still like one of the best offensive players in the NBA. Like, he is an offense in himself. And not many guys do what Trey Young does. Obviously, it comes with the defense, though, and it comes with, how sustainable, how far can a team go with Trey Young as the main dude. Obviously, they got DeJounte Murray to kind of help with that defensive ability. DeJounte Murray, I think it's safe to say, has taken a step back defensively because of his progression as an offensive player. I mean, there ain't many dudes that just be doing it like that both ways, If you can pick one way, you're going to make more money scoring buckets than locking dudes up.
For sure.
So that's why guys do that. But I still think Trey Young is obviously he's a top 20 player in the NBA. So he's my number 19.
Shoot, I had something. Did you see that Jimmy High Roller video about the 4-point shot?
I don't think so.
You should. It talked about how Trey Young would be like, if there was a 4-point line, Trey Young would be far and away the best player at shooting 4-point shots. Like, not even close.
Yeah, he'd be shooting deep threes a lot.
He'd be shooting them the moment he steps over half.
Well, would you ever agree with a 4-point line?
No. I think it ruins the space in a basketball.
It just ruins like everything.
Yeah,
because guess what? Dudes are just gonna start strictly shooting. Why would I shoot a 3?
Yeah, well, and then like again, the spacing issues happen because this year in the NBA it was super interesting. This was the first year in the NBA since the introduction of the 3-point line that the 2-point shot was more valuable than the 3-point shot based on attempts and points per attempt.
The 2-pointer was more than the 3 this year?
Was more effective.
Really?
Because teams are now closing out so hard on 3-point shots, it's brought the 2-pointer back into the game.
Yeah.
the first year since.
You're telling me in 1980 the 3-ball was more effective?
Because of points per attempt.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
because like they
I
only
guess
took
like the only dudes that were hitting them were like hitting them.
the shooters,
Yeah,
absolutely, and and everybody took twos,
and they were
missed
defending.
twos.
Yeah, that's right. They're defending the twos a lot harder.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
This was, or it might have been last year too.
Right.
It was within the last 2 years, and I find that so
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
And I don't think a lot of people really view that, like how important the 2-point shot has become again. Even in like as I'm coaching all different levels of basketball, so many of these teams just want to shoot the ball all the time, and it's like you guys aren't Steph Curry. You guys can't shoot it at that high of a clip where it's that effective.
But it's in
I'll
the
give my
NBA.
twos.
Obviously, it's a bit different, you know, because like Joe Mazzulla is one of the main guys with this, and obviously there's been several bunch of these guys, but like Mazzulla really like talks like if you are gonna score, you shoot a 3. Like we shoot 3s here, and that's it. You know, you want to take it to. You better hope there's not an open 3 that you're missing somewhere. You know,
it better
because
be a damn
it's
layup. A lot of
if you get enough 3s up, you're gonna score more than you would taking 2s. Is essentially the mindset. You know, you're gonna have games where you miss a crap ton. Guess what? Just keep shooting them.
Mm-hmm.
So
for sure. But then you have a game where the 0 for 27 Houston Rockets and you blow a finals appearance, maybe a win.
That could happen.
So I think a lot of people don't realize that you just have it's a give and take game.
It is. You live and die by the 3.
And it's about, if they're not giving you the 3, take your layups and play some defense. If they're going to hound the paint, you skip the ball and you shoot 3s the whole game. It's all, basketball is a give and take game.
Yeah.
And this year, the team started taking more 2s and being more effective on their 2s.
That's
it's
interesting
an awesome
to hear.
Stat.
Yeah.
Awesome stat.
What number were we at? 18? 19. You just did, or I did Trey Young, right? So
yeah.
18.
No, I'm at 18. Yeah, you're right. My number 18 is Jalen Brown. This guy, this Jalen Brown slander this summer.
It's at an all-time high.
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
But I love Jalen Brown.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Brown is awesome. Okay, so he can't dribble with his offhand. Who cares? He will still put up 25.
Kind of a big deal, but
yeah, but didn't he have a broken thumb in his
I don't
offhand?
know.
I think he
have.
did.
Yeah.
Did you see the mean ones that have been going around of Emmanuel?
Oh yeah, dude, I've been seeing them,
those are
yeah, dude,
crazy.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Jalen Brown, 18.
Yeah, I actually also have Jalen Brown, number 18. I think he's just become, I don't even want to say underrated, but he's just become massively like overhated.
Got an update.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, he has been listed as questionable.
What? We knew that. Okay, this is what's gonna happen. I'm calling it right now. This is gonna come out like after the game probably, so you won't hear it. He's gonna suit up for the game and just like play like barely any, like play like 5 snaps.
There is no way he plays tomorrow. The way this goes is Kelce hyperextended his knee during Tuesday's practice, so we were wrong. I was wrong, and has inflammation as a result of the injury. The team believes Kelce's ACL is intact.
No, it is. They did the MRI yesterday, and he's got no like structural damage or anything. So they don't like his knee isn't.
Gotcha.
It's not just a believe. Yeah,
it's weird that they worded that way.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah, I think he'll suit and just not play that much. That's my guess. And that makes sense. I guess that he's listed as questionable because they don't want to give the Lions the edge.
It's a competitive advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
For us to have to think we might have to prepare for him, no doubt.
Okay. Yeah, Jalen Brown was my number 18.
My number 17 is Domantas Sabonis. Way higher than you had him.
Totally.
I mean, in front of Kyrie and Jalen Brown, but Sabonis was that effective last year as an offensive big man and as an offensive hub. That is so important, especially at the big man position, where we thought at one point we would never see that again. The offensive hub big man. Now we've got 4 of them, 5 of them almost.
Yeah.
And it's so awesome, and Sabonis did it at one of the highest levels.
Very fun player to watch. My number 17 is Kyrie Irving. I kind of agree with you. Like Kyrie Irving, we all know how like skilled he is, and especially how efficient he is at the difficult shots that he takes. But we just haven't really seen it in like incredibly meaningful basketball in a while. And that's not like really his fault.
Who did you just say?
Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
It's not like really his fault because he just like has been hurt during those meaningful games. But his team hasn't gone on any run here in a minute. He hasn't made the conference finals since, because he didn't with Boston. I mean, he like did, but he didn't play since Cleveland. So it's been a long time for Kyrie, but we know how good he is in the clutch in the fourth quarter. So hopefully we can see that. And I think that Dallas they're gonna rebound this year. They're not missing the freaking playoffs.
No way.
That's not happening. Grant Williams was a good addition for them, so I'm excited. Speaking of Grant Williams, he's the NBA PA vice president.
Really?
And they did some like agreement with the 2K league. They're like doing some more partnering with the 2K league to like get players like involved and stuff.
I've always wanted
Saw it
to
on
be in the
ESPN.
2K league.
Yeah.
I always thought that would have been awesome. Like that was my career, 2K
Yeah.
league, just screaming at other 30-year-old dudes who
You getting
just play
paid, though.
2K for a living.
Yeah.
But being able to, this is my house over a 2K game might be a stretch for
Get
me.
hype, fans.
Like it might be a little much for me because I'm not really
Yeah.
hitting the shots.
Okay. 16.
My number 6. Oh, I wanted to mention. Not only did Boston make it to the conference finals without him, they were better, like way better
Yeah.
that year when he didn't play in the leading up to those conference finals. Remember when he got to Boston? It was like we screwed up.
Yeah.
We should have kept Isaiah Thomas.
I do remember that. Yeah.
And granted, none of them
He
worked
played
out
in the
either
one
of those
playoff
spots.
series, but that was when they lost to. That was when they got beat by Milwaukee. Because this is when I don't know why I remember this. But this is when Paul Pierce was still with ESPN, and Boston went up 1-0. They were like the 7 seed going up against. It was Kyrie's last year in Boston before he went to Brooklyn, and they went up 1-0 against Milwaukee. And Paul Pierce was like on ESPN, like, I guarantee you that Boston wins this series. I guarantee it. And like they didn't. They lost 4-1. They lost 4 straight.
Nice.
Games. And then Paul Pierce got like fired.
Number 1 analyst ever. I love
What
me
a
some
meme
Paul
he
Pierce.
is, dude. Nowadays he is such a meme.
He keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
It's like
Did you see that whole thing with him and KG? Like when they did that live stream, like during the NBA Finals.
yeah, where he was like hammered.
He was just like hammered, and he brought like a hooker with him. And KG kept trying to like tell him like, "Yo, we're like live, dude. Like
chill.
This is live." And like Paul Pierce didn't understand what that meant.
Dude, that was one of the craziest. I remember watching. Yeah, I do remember that. I totally forgot about that. When I think clown Paul Pierce moment, I do think of the wheelchair.
The wheelchair, yeah.
Like that is the ultimate
that
clown.
definitely is.
But you're right, that one was bad. I wonder if like Rondo and Ray Allen even talked to him anymore.
Well, Ray Allen is like not cool with them dudes anyway.
He is now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Remember
That's
though
all,
at the
yeah, that's all came out. And,
remember though at the 75 anniversary thing, they like didn't like dap each other up or nothing.
Rondo did the same thing. He
Yeah.
left Boston to go play with Braun.
Yeah, but that was a little different.
It was
Rondo like
later.
had torn ACL and like was not as good of a like Ray Allen leaving for Miami was a pretty big deal.
It was.
Yeah.
And just to be like the 6 or 7.
But yeah, I
man.
feel bad for KG, man. Like Paul Pierce, just like that's your boy, but
Yeah.
like
you want him to be your boy.
like well, you guys are boys, but like in that moment, it's like you gotta like I wouldn't know what to do if I'm
Me
him.
either.
Like
I would have
KG's
no
that's his
idea.
career nowadays is like this sports media guy, and that was not a good look for him, you know. So
Neither for Paul Pierce.
yeah,
That
definitely.
guy is a clown.
definitely not, bro. He was like talking. He was like, you can like go on a website and like get you one of these girls, and it was just like. What are you talking about, dog? She's sitting right next to you. Like,
And you were on live TV, basically.
Yeah,
like
oh, that was so bad, dude.
you're not just some random guy. You
Yeah.
are Paul Pierce. You gotta act
And
like
he kept saying, like, oh, you could just, like, take it out. You could just, like, take it out. And he was like, no, dude, we can't. Like, this is live.
It's crazy.
Okay, we got pretty off track there.
My number 16 is basically the better version of Paul Pierce. It's Jimmy Butler.
Oh, wow. You have Jimmy Butler low.
Yeah. He was low on my position rankings,
okay.
too. Yeah, I don't know, man. Jimmy's a beast. They went on a huge run. They're not going to do it again. Like, they're not going back to the finals this year. I will put that right here. I'm ready. I'm prepared for the clips that might come.
I think you're right.
Yeah, no, I'm not even worried. Miami Heat aren't making finals. Jimmy's a monster. I don't know. He just
What happens
like
if they trade for Dame, though?
oh, and then things change.
Yeah. But
Things-
then this is invalid.
yeah, that's an invalid. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But Jimmy Butler, 16.
My number 16 is Paul George, one of my favorite players in the NBA. Last year I had him, I think, at number 11 or 12, so he took a little bit of a fall, but he was hurt for most of this year. And I think some guys just in his absence really kind of popped off. He was a guy that I moved from my position rankings to this list. I just thought that a guy that I had below him really had too good of a year for me to not put him above Paul George into the top 15. So PG's number 16, but I expect a really hope that we just get a Kawhi, Paul George in the playoffs. You don't even have to play in the regular season, dude. Like,
No.
can you both just play in the playoffs?
For an entire, I want to see you guys. If you guys win the finals, I want you both to be on the floor, and if you guys lose in the second round, I want you both to be on the floor.
Yes.
Like, that's all I need.
We need it.
I need to know what this team can
I thought
even
the Clippers
do.
were about to win so many rings when those two
It felt
teamed
so
up, dude.
unfair. Remember when Clippers, the highway robbery?
Yeah.
And then it didn't even matter.
They made the conference finals a few years ago, but that was Paul George. Kawhi Leonard got hurt, so.
They robbed a train for conference finals.
Even like this year when Kawhi went off in game 1 against Phoenix, it was like, oh, like he don't need PG. Like Kawhi is back. And then like, nope, game 3. He's
why
out.
can't we just have both of them? Why does one not need the other?
Oh, it's so bad. Okay.
My number 15, top 15 now. Getting into the nitty gritty. Gets a little harder. Gets a little more fun. My number 15 is Paul George. So I've got him and Jimmy back to back. You could flip them easily. You might be able to put Jimmy at 14, but I like the scoring consistency on two-way ability of PG. I think it is a little bit more than what Jimmy Butler brings to the table. And PG is a 6'11", 6'10".
Yeah.
Beast. I mean, he's just unreal.
And he's got one of the best podcasts in the game.
For sure. Whoever his co-host is, the one with the older guy
Jackie?
with the crackier voice.
Yeah.
That guy is gold.
He's an actor.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
He is hilarious.
Yeah, he is really funny.
He is so funny. I cannot get enough of that guy.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty funny. Did you see the one with Stephen A. Smith? That they had Stephen A. on, and him and Jackie had like a little bit of like a beef a little bit ago, so it was just kind of funny because they squashed it. Like they never really were actually beefing, but like because Jackie called out Stephen A. on their podcast for like talking about NBA players because he never played in the NBA and he don't got no right to be talking about them. And then Stephen A. called Jackie like a B-list celebrity, and it was just like it was like a total.
That's awesome.
And then they like it was pretty funny.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's the way those interactions should go.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like the Dave Portnoy, the pizza review.
Oh yeah, bro. Dude, that was crazy. That was so funny. It's so funny to me when people do stuff like that. Like when people like try to start beef with Portnoy and guys like that. Like, what are you doing? Like, even if you don't like Portnoy, the dude is at your spot right now. Like, you don't realize how
influential that is.
How do you not realize? How out of touch with everything are you? Like, but he knew who he was.
And knew him off that New York Times article that was false.
Yeah.
The whole thing was fake.
Oh,
and
that's
Dave,
so bad.
Well, and your shirt 6 sizes too small.
Like, how's he think of that right on
That
the
is
spot?
such a
That
good
video is so
one, dude.
chaotic, though, because you have that random dude that was just, like, there, the Dom of the Year dude. Yeah, that dude was so funny.
What a dude.
Yeah.
And
You haven't seen...
people walking up as he's giving it he's like, yeah, I gave it like a 6'4", and this guy yelled at me and screamed at me, and they're like, oh yeah, we like their pizza too.
Yeah.
And he's like, I do too. It's just the owner. Like,
Yeah.
he's terrible.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. It's
So funny.
Freaking hilarious. Okay, my number 15 is Donovan Mitchell. I moved Donovan Mitchell up one spot over Paul George. Like I said, I just think that he had too good of a season for me to have him below Paul George. Had one of the best years of his career. I think it was second team All-NBA, maybe third team. I think it was third team, actually. And this Cavs team, I think we all know is like due for a jump. I don't really know what the starting five looks like next year. They kind of made a bunch of different moves at the three. But they have two of the best guards, one of the best guard duos in the game, one of the best front court duos in the game. I don't think it's time for them to give up on this like Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen thing yet. You know, you got to give this 1 year is not enough. You need to get a wing player that fits them before you give up on them. And maybe they did that with Max Strus. Maybe they did that with George Niang. Who knows? But Donovan Mitchell, number 15.
Yeah, I think they're my number 14 is Donovan Mitchell, and I think I totally agree. The big move for them was to get big wings who can defend and shoot. Mm-hmm. Literally, and every team wants those. Yeah. Every team wants a 3-and-D wing.
You got to pay the price for it, but
I think that will really push them forward defensively and offensively. I think it only makes them better on both ends of the basketball if that can happen. Those guys aren't easy to come by.
Right,
They
and
aren't
Max
easy
Strus
to
is
just slide
I think
in.
Max Strus is a pretty good definition of that. You know,
Yeah,
he's
no,
a pretty good defender, and he knocks down shots.
And if he can't slide in and make it work, I do become a little worried. It's like, okay, well, there might be a floor spacing issue with Evan Mobley and Allen. And maybe Mobley really is a 5. And maybe you ship Allen off and we go with a Max Strus at the 4.
Because then you come into a weird situation where it's like, okay, if Strus can't do it, like, Karis LeVert, we know he's going to score, but, like, we can't have him guarding Jason Tatum, you know?
Yeah.
Or, okay, we need a guy to come guard Jason Tatum. Isaac Okoro, you can do that. But you kick it out to Isaac Okoro in the corner, and it's brick after brick. So it's like, if Strus can't be the guy this year, then maybe you look into, okay, we kind of have to figure out a different way to build this team. Jared Allen, who's going to be, I think, in the last year of his contract this year, he's on a really good steal, like $20 million a year. So, it's going to be an interesting season for the Cavs for sure.
So based on what we both just said, it feels like we are both bigger believers in the backcourt than we are in the front court.
Well, not necessarily. I just think that out of those four guys, Jared Allen is the only like realistic one to go. Like, there's no shot they just trade Darius Garland. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good point.
And Garland, Garland and Mobley just seem like they're guys that are going to get maxes from the Cavs and stay. Jared Allen just seems like the odd man out. Also, Donovan Mitchell is a free agent at the end of the season.
Just leave.
He could leave he could. Like, that was the risk that they took, and they haven't extended him yet. Just kind of a red flag.
That'd be really weird what if they just didn't even like bring an offer to the table? Like,
I assume they're going.
Our team isn't good enough actually, so we're gonna let you and Allen go, and we're gonna keep going. We're gonna figure out where we're going.
They would probably still be good because they'd have some money to work with, but like, yeah, that would be terrible.
It does feel like Mobley and Garland are the future.
They just seem like they're the cat, and then Donovan Mitchell too. I assume that he's gonna re-sign with them.
Mitchell doesn't feel like a Cav,
but he'll at least do that whole supermax thing where he gets the supermax,
a trade,
be there for a year, and then be like, I want out. You know, if he actually does want out.
We only made it to the semis. I need to be in the finals every year with the Knicks. Dude, they're not going to him.
Donovan Mitchell, though, one of the better playoff performers of our time so far.
For sure.
Okay.
70.
Number 14. Did you say you're 14?
Yeah, mine was D-Mitch.
My number 14 is Shay Gill Alexander. Talk about a guy that we're talking about playoff performers. Wait till Shay gets in the playoffs, dude. He is about to be that dude. You could argue that Shay has been the best player in this FIBA tournament so far. It's probably Luka, but then I would probably say it's followed up right by Shay. Which is crazy that the top two guys aren't on the U.S. team. But
awesome. Crazy
Shay
awesome.
Gill is just one of the most smooth offensive players in the game. Another guy that like his defense has taken a step back, but he's still a bigger guard than he is a good defender for sure. I just don't think he's like this elite two-way player that we kind of thought he was going to be. But also I don't think anyone thought he was going to average 32 points per game in the NBA. So that obviously plays a role into it. The Thunder in general are just a super fun team. And Shay just kind of screams like this like 30 points per game scorer every year because the dude don't even shoot threes. Wait till he starts like shooting a lot of threes, which I assume he'll do at some point.
It'll come later in his career.
Yeah, like
8 years, 9 years.
I mean, he just gets all of his buckets in his spots. That's what he does.
Not only does he get him in his, it looks so easy.
Oh yeah, it's so easy.
It feels like you could pick him up and you could drop him into any playoff game. And he's going to put up 30 in that playoff game.
Yeah.
Just doing exactly what he does
without
in the regular
sprinting.
Season. It's some of the weirdest, most prettiest basketball you've seen.
He's like one of them dudes that looks like he's playing basketball, but he knows there's people watching, so he's like trying to make himself look cool while he does it.
Yeah, he's like always like cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like he ain't like going hard. Nah. Like
No.
This is easy for me. Like,
and he's laughing at the dudes that are trying. And he's like, oh, try hard.
Yeah.
But he's got 35.
Exactly, yeah. But he ain't trying.
No,
you know?
he ain't trying.
Exactly. Okay, number 13.
My number 13, Shay Gill Alexander. I'm chasing you right now. I'm chasing your answers. I'm one back. Yeah, Shay is just you have been on the Shay train much longer than I have, but like I'm here. I'm on.
Oh
it.
yeah,
and
I think most people are.
That last Instagram caption, that is ridiculous.
What
I don't
was it?
remember it. I don't remember the whole thing. I'll pull it up.
Okay.
Talk about your 13.
Yeah, my number 13 is Damian Lillard. Dame Lillard is a guy that was like in the top 10, brink top 10 the last so many years. And it's just such a weird offseason for Damian Lillard because he has been out and he's been out for the last 2 seasons, gotten injured. Did you find it?
Yeah. It's just the craziest thing. He spit a full-on 4 bars. They debating about if my bag is deep because they know the only thing I really lack is sleep. Left home and I said I wouldn't be back for weeks until I made sure I was in Paris next summer and not for Fashion Week.
Jesus,
like,
dude.
He sat down and
That's
did
hard.
that.
And Paris is where the Olympics is, you know, because they just qualified for the Olympics.
He's fashionable. He ain't trying to be there because he looks good before games. He wants to be there because he's the best basketball player in the world. That is ridiculous.
That's
I wish my Instagram
Shay,
captions would be like that.
if we did a ranking of like social media NBA players, Like
He's right there.
Shay's like probably number 1.
Yeah, and D-Book's up there too.
Yeah, like
D-Book's
just
a social media.
Instagram posts, like strictly Instagram, I guess.
Yeah,
because social
vibey.
media is like gonna be like the Pat Bevs and like guys who have
Yeah,
podcasts.
KD's burners.
Yeah, but like the straight Instagram dudes, Shay's probably number 1
For sure. His
He be
Instagram
having the
game
league
is
fits
crazy.
like crazy too. But yeah, Dame Lillard is my number 13. Really interested to see how this continues to go on. It's will he sit? Because it doesn't look like he's gonna get traded. So I don't know. Hopefully he just does get traded. But we don't.
I want him to leave. I really do.
It's like at this point, yeah. Like we don't want him to come back and play for Portland at this point. It's too weird. And they have Scoot.
They have Scoot and Anthony. Let's just give them the keys. Get
Yeah,
out. And
exactly.
Shane Sharp. Damn, your time's probably gone now. It's Portland Trailblazers.
And I think he wants that, but
Yeah.
they just don't want a trade to go down. So we'll see.
And it's so hard because, and the issue was, do you think they would have explored a trade if you would have never asked for one? Do you think?
Oh,
I don't know. That's a
I
good
don't think they
question.
would.
Probably not have, right?
don't
They
think
would.
they
They
would've.
never had. My number 12. I have Kawhi Leonard here.
Ooh.
The Claw, the man, the big dog, the beast. I don't know. I love Kawhi. I think he's great offensively. I think defensively he's even better. We haven't really seen that side of Kawhi though, like the locked in defensive
Right,
Kawhi
yeah.
in a long time. But I really like Kawhi. I just think there are some guys who had better years than him. Do I think Kawhi will be back in that top 10 next year if he stays totally healthy? Hell yeah. There's multiple guys in there I think he can jump.
Yeah. My number 12 is Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers. By the way, my list is like quite similar to last year's list, which I didn't expect. I thought it was going to be a lot different. But yeah, AD, number 12, had a really, really good year last year. Just was hurt for a good amount. In the playoffs, he had the classic, like, I'm going to drop 40 this game, and I'm going to give you 13 the next game. But then I'll go right back to 35 the next one, which is just pretty inconsistent, obviously. Yep. But we know what he's capable of. One of the best defensive players in the NBA, and offensively, he's a beast, so he's number 12.
My number 11 is Dame Dalla, the best rapper in the NBA.
Yeah.
Dude's a beast. Can't wait to see him play in a new team that's not a contender, but kind of is a contender. Not too good, but he doesn't want to go to a bad team.
Yep.
Just the Miami Heat are the only team that fits in that category.
Even though they went to the finals.
It's ridiculous.
Speaking of the Miami Heat, my number 11 is Jimmy Butler. I have Jimmy Butler quite a bit higher than you. Jimmy Butler is the definition of regular season. He ain't going to have the craziest numbers. He's going to get you 21, 6, and 6. Come playoffs, though, he's going to do what he does. Now, in like the second round and even like the conference finals a little bit, he didn't go like ballistic like he did like he did even in the finals. Like the team actually itself just played really well around Jimmy Butler. But the moments that Jimmy Butler has, he's done this now for some years, other than the series where he got outscored by Bryn Forbes. That was pretty bad. But other than that, like he is one of the better playoff performers in the entire NBA. And if the Heat are in the playoffs not after this season, I'm never going to count them out. You know, this was a team that I doubted last season. Hardcore. I was like, I didn't think they're going to make it out of the play-in tournament. And they did, and they went all the way. So, you know, I'm never going to doubt the Heat again as long as Jimmy Butler is their guy.
Yeah, the Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra tandem has just created some beautiful, beautiful basketball, defensively especially.
Yeah.
Finally.
Top 10 players in the NBA.
It's
this
the top
is
10
crazy.
guys in the league,
So
man.
do we have the same top? No, we don't have the same top 10.
Nope. My number 10, right off the bat, is Devin Booker. The best shooting guard in the NBA. Absolute menace to society on the basketball court. Giving you buckets, chirping the whole time in your ear. Man, do I like Devin Booker. He is, as much as I joke with Ivan about, you know, how he's soft, he ain't soft. This guy ain't soft.
Don't let him hear that.
This guy is a beast, and I you can't help but love Devin Booker. The fact that you're on a team with KD and Bradley Beal, and they both go, yeah, it's that guy's team, and they point at this guard.
Yeah.
That says a lot about D-Book. I cannot wait for this next year.
Yeah, my number 10 is also Devin Booker. Really excited to see how he's going to play without Chris Paul, because the addition of Chris Paul really helped out his career for sure. But we know Booker can like play this point guard role. He did it in this year's playoffs. He did it a couple playoffs ago when Chris Paul got hurt when they made the finals run. And he was going crazy in these playoffs too, by the way. Booker also was a guy that like Is he a guy? I think we did this on the podcast actually, like the can he win an MVP thing.
Yeah.
Like I think Booker's a guy that
He
could
can.
win the MVP for sure.
He can.
He
could do it this year.
He could. I actually think he could win the MVP this year. He's just one of the better scorers in the NBA. 3-level scorer, super fun to watch. And you have the two of the best on the same team, so super exciting.
My number 9 is Anthony Davis. This is where I have the defensive menace. This guy completely flipped the narrative this playoffs on who we're beginning to think Anthony Davis was, and even the whole season. He played the most games he played in 3 seasons this regular season. Had an awesome playoff run where defensively he was the best defender in the world during the playoffs, and nobody can tell me any different. The way he protected the rim, the way he guarded everybody, blocking shots, everything, and he's doing this all while scoring the ball effectively in some games and not so effectively. I mean, he would do his 13 points a game.
He's still going to like impact the game in a very positive way.
Yeah, and
either way.
The Lakers-Denver series was one of my more favorite series I've ever gotten to watch as an NBA fan, to watch the adjustments and how many different things the Lakers tried throwing at Jokic to see how he handled. I love it when we go to, why can I not think of my favorite, the defender, Jared Vanderbilt guarding Jokic. And we're going to make Anthony Davis now the help side defender. When we started off vice versa, it's just a beautiful thing to watch from a coaching perspective, to just really get a grip on how these NBA teams would attack somebody as effective as Jokic, and to watch how they used an elite defender like AD off the ball. It was just really, really fun to watch and special.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything. That series was so fun, and it was just funny that it was a sweep, because like all 4 games were like good games, all of them, and obviously it ended in a sweep. But I think we knew that the Nuggets was winning.
Yeah,
for sure. That. Okay, my number 9 is Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, you and I have kind of talked about this, and I debated whether I was going to bump him up like you did in the middle of our small forwards list. And I chose not to. But this isn't like a diss on Jason Tatum. Like, it's just because I think the other guys are still better. But Jason Tatum has just like stepped into this league, dude, and just been like a really good player. Like playoff runs every year. I brought this up before, but that Game 6 in Milwaukee in the semifinals, when the year they went to the finals, was one of the best playoff games like ever that I seen a dude play. This year in the second round against Philly, Game 6 again. Is Game 6 Tatum like gonna be a thing?
Is that a thing?
Is it?
Because Game 6 play didn't happen this year.
He hit 4 straight threes against the Sixers. Brought him. They were playing so bad. Even he was playing so bad. Doesn't matter. He hits all those threes on the road in Philly, one of the most hostile environments. Gets them back into it, and then they blow him out in Game 7. So
crazy to think about what even this offseason would be different based on that.
If they lose that game. Jalen Brown probably doesn't get extended.
And James Harden is probably happy as hell.
Yeah, like they might go get Dame Lillard.
Yeah,
you know,
very well.
Like just because they would have had to switch something up. The Boston Celtics have made the conference finals now like a lot of years in a row. 2019 was the last year they didn't. So 20, 21, 22, and 23, 4 straight years. And those are not counting the 2 that Tatum went to before that year. Like, he just be going to the conference finals every year. Only 1 finals appearance. But also, like, it kind of seems like Boston's got to go to the finals this year. Like, they got the best squad. They might have the best team in the entire NBA. But at least in the East, they have the best squad. So Tatum's got to really be that guy. Not that he isn't that guy, but, like, he's got to get him there this year. Another guy that, like, is bound to win an MVP at some point.
For sure. That guy has to. Tatum has to. My number 8 is my king, LeBron James. My champion.
Yep.
My one and only. He lives in my heart. LeBron James is my king.
Yeah.
I go to bed and he's the last thing I think about, and he's the first thing I wake up and I think about.
All right.
I'm being serious. It's ha funny till it's not, because I love LeBron. I was wearing my shirt the other day, and I couldn't quit saying it to myself. LeBron is my king. He is my king. It is so crazy to think LeBron is still in this league, in the top 10 in the NBA. And it is kind of sad to see him down here. Like, it's kind of sad to see him at like 8.
I don't know. I mean, like, I really figured he was not going to be in the top 10, if I'm being honest.
Like going into this list?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Even just I kind of knew going into this he wasn't going to be. But like a few months ago, like when the season ended, like thinking about it, like he ain't top 10 no more. But he still is. He still is.
And that's what's so crazy. Like, every year we try to convince ourselves that he's not as good as we really think he is. Well, he is. He just is.
Yeah.
He's that good. He went back to the conference finals again. He's a beast, man. I love LeBron. He's my king.
Okay. My number 8 is Kawhi Leonard. I still think Kawhi Leonard is a top 10, top 8 player in the NBA. If we are taking the fully healthy version, you give me that game 1 Kawhi Leonard this year against Phoenix, I'm taking him over Tatum, I think. Now, Kawhi Leonard has a tendency to not stay healthy, unfortunately. But Kawhi Leonard's just one of those guys that, man, when he is on, he was really good this season. And I actually thought the way that the Clippers, it's unfortunate that he got hurt because I thought that the way that they played him this year was actually really good. When he started off this year, he didn't play the first so many games, which was really weird because he had a full season of sitting out and then still wasn't ready the following season. But then he wasn't playing that much. He came off the bench a few games. He was playing 20 minutes a night. And it was Kawhi's about to average 14 points a game.
He's got to look like a role player.
Yeah, exactly. And then they just start ramping him up, and he just starts going crazy. I think he ended up averaging in the high 20s for points per game last year, which came out of nowhere. He played in back-to-backs. He played high 30-plus minute games. So I thought that they did a good job of managing his minutes last year because it's got to be tough with a guy like Kawhi, He is Mr. Load Manage,
sure.
He really is. But yeah, when he is fully healthy, there's not if I had to pick certain guys to go on a playoff run, fully healthy versions of him, I don't know how many guys I say before I say Kawhi Leonard. Honestly, I think he's in that top 5. And yeah, so that's why I have him here in number 8.
Yeah, I think if I'm building a team to beat, the Monstars,
yes,
I think Kawhi makes the roster.
Yeah.
I think Kawhi plays probably the 2 on that roster. My number 7 is Jason Tatum. Best small forward in the basketball. He just has become, in a league that's become so parity driven, there's one constant, and that's Jason Tatum will put you in a position to go to the finals. That's all you can ask for in a parity driven league like we have right now in the NBA. Every single year, a new team's making a new run. Except there's one thing that stays the same. Boston Celtics are going to go to the conference finals, and that matters. Just to get to that spot means you have an opportunity to play in the finals.
Philly has not made it there since we have been born. That's a team that is in the playoffs
and in the hunt.
Yeah,
every year.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can't do it. That says so much about Jason Tatum and this Boston Celtics team as a whole. And they're just not the same without Tatum. He is so elite, and he might take that Kawhi Leonard spot eventually.
Yeah,
when the Monstars come.
I think that I totally understand having Tatum above those guys. It's definitely very respectable. And Tatum's a guy he'll be a top 5 player in the NBA. Give it 2 years, he might be top 3.
Yep.
He's for sure gonna be there. He's still so young.
For sure.
My number 7 is LeBron James. Last year I had him number 7 as well, and he didn't even move for me. He averaged damn near 30 points per game last year, which just kind of gets swept under the freaking rug. He's going into year 21, man. 21 years in the NBA. I am 21 years old. That is crazy. Now, that math doesn't really add up there because I was born 2 years before he made his debut. But whatever.
Wait a second.
Well, I'm turning 22, and this is the start of year 21.
Gotcha.
So by the time he finishes it, he'll have 21 years complete.
Gotcha. There's a little gap there.
Yeah.
There's a little time mix up.
But anyways,
and years and things.
Yeah, LeBron, all-time leading scorer. Could this be the last year of LeBron? I don't know if it is. No, it's not. It's not. He's got another one after this one.
He will not go out unless he averages under 20. I think that's when he'll leave the NBA.
But I kind of think he just it really does seem like his thing is he just wants to play with Bronny.
That's what I would think.
Do you think this is a legit question because the obvious answer is duh, yeah. But legitimately, do you think his big thing is I got to get another ring?
I don't think so.
Or do you think he's just trying to get to the point where he can still play past 40 years old?
Yeah, I think he's just going out there and playing, having fun. Whatever happens is going to happen, and control what you can control kind of mindset with LeBron. I don't think he's going out there every year thinking I have to win a finals this year. He's probably beyond that in his own head. I could see your motives changing after over half your life you've been in the NBA. You might want to help lead your son into that lifestyle. What's going to happen? Because, I mean, you got Bronny, but you got Bryce coming too. Bryce looks like a monster.
And as much jokes as we make about LeBron, dude, like the day that LeBron is out of the league, like LeBron is still the face of the NBA. I don't care what anybody says. Like, yeah, he's not the best player in the NBA, but as long as he's in the NBA, he is the NBA. And when he's gone and Steph Curry's gone, it's just like, what now?
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
The LeBron thing, it's the last of, and it's crazy that we say this because the guys that came before him have retired for so long now.
Yeah.
Like, he's the last of the Wade, the Melo, the Kobe,
Duncan,
the Dwayne Wade.
Dirk.
Like, he's the last of these guys that exist, and that's you and I.
They've been gone. Yeah.
And they've been gone forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for 9 years, 10 years, some of those guys.
Yeah.
I think Amari Stoudemire was in the same draft, or maybe the draft before.
Yeah, I think he was earlier.
He's been out of the league for 9 years.
Yeah.
It's unreal. But it's going to be so emotional and, like, so sad when
It really
LeBron
is.
leaves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because, I mean, I remember, like, staying up to watch Kobe's last game. Pretty random memory because that was the first year I ever played fantasy baseball. We had our fantasy baseball draft that and same night. And it was, like, late as shit. But it was, like, a school night. Like, because how old were we? That was 2017, 2016.
It had to be. Yeah.
Like, we weren't that old. Like, I was, like, 50. I don't know if I could drive yet. But, yeah, and that was, like, pretty crazy to watch. But, like, it's not going to be like LeBron. Like, you know, I was, like, obviously I knew Kobe and stuff. But, like, that wasn't, like, the dude. Like, LeBron is the dude of my basketball watching experience and yours,
For
too.
sure. Absolutely.
So
it's
it's
been the
really
one
weird.
constant in our whole basketball life. It's been that LeBron is one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
You can always count on it. You don't know what the stock market's going to look like. You don't know how much cash you're going to have in your wallet. But you know LeBron's going to be one of the best players in the league.
And for a good amount of time, it was, I don't know if it's going to rain out today, but I know LeBron James will make the NBA Finals.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely.
No matter what happens, he'll be there. When
He'll
he
be
didn't,
there.
it was like,
Wait a second.
am I watching what? Is this the NBA?
Is this the end? Is this the way we go out?
Okay.
My number 6. That's where we're at.
Yes.
My number 6 is Luka Doncic.
Ooh.
I think last year I probably had him top 5.
Probably.
I think so. But he dropped one spot. And he's a beast. I mean, what is there to say about
He's
Luka?
the sixth best player in the NBA.
He's a monster.
Yeah. My number 6 is reigning MVP Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. Pretty sure I had him in this exact spot last year. Pretty weird to think that the MVP of the league is not a top 5 player in the NBA and didn't move.
Didn't get better.
But also, like, that was just like a...
That was
can
most
we give
bullshit
him
MVP.
Okay, I don't think it was bullshit MVP. It was just like he had such a good year the 2 prior years. It was like, okay, we gotta give him one, you know, like, which he deserves an MVP for sure. Like, he had such good years the last so many years. But Joel Embiid, if there's one thing that's also going to happen, I don't know what I'm going to eat for lunch today, but I know damn well Joel Embiid ain't going to play in the conference finals. You know? Like, there's another one. And it's weird, you know, Joel Embiid has not been a good playoff performer, like at all, really, ever.
Pretty terrible.
You know, the year that they lost to the Kawhi Leonard, you know, doink shot, like, Joel Embiid was good in that series, but that was like the best time we've seen of Joel Embiid. He struggled to even make it out of the first round. The loss to the Atlanta Hawks obviously was a terrible one, but it's just been, I saw, you know, that clip of that kid that goes, it's a motherfucking, ham, you know, that clip? Yeah. It was like me trying to think of one good Joel Embiid playoff game. I thought that was hilarious. And yeah, so it's like, he's one of the best players in the NBA, for sure. But everyone else above him on this list, I can think of, especially some guys, I can think of several occasions where they have been elite in the playoffs, like in the NBA Finals, raising the trophy good.
You're about to make him drop him out of my top 10. He's about to not be in there.
But he's still a phenomenal player. It's just, can he go there? I don't think anytime, not in Philly, not anymore. You know, their window is kind of closed. Low-key
doesn't feel like he can do it alone, like as the best player on the team.
But like, no one does it alone.
But do you think he can do it as the best player on the team?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, man. I mean, I guess, yeah, he could. Absolutely, he could. It'd be a
but
really
also,
good team.
who else are they gonna get there? You know,
Yeah.
Like if they got Dame, like, okay,
you could argue Dame was better than Embiid for a whole playoff.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, totally. But like, he's had Jimmy Butler as a teammate. He's had James Harden as his teammate. He had good Ben Simmons as his teammate. Like, those are 3 all NBA caliber players and haven't made the conference finals.
Man, that's crazy that we get to
crazy.
say that when we talk about Ben Simmons.
Exactly.
All NBA guy.
And
at one point. He
Yeah,
was.
he
I mean,
was.
it's just crazy.
Okay, top 5.
My number 5 is Joel Embiid. Probably jumped Luka. I bet you they flip-flop spots for me. Shout out the MVP.
Yep. My number 5 is Kevin Durant of the Phoenix Suns. Love Kevin Durant, man. One of my favorite players ever. And to this day, he's just like LeBron. Like, he just has not aged. That guy, Kevin Durant's a really weird one because he gets hurt like every year. And it'll be like a torn Achilles.
Yeah.
And dude's back. And, like, he don't need no ramping up. Like, no, just let him go out there and play 40 minutes a night. Like, he'll do it. He's really weird with that. Like, he recovers from injury so well. He must be a very healthy person. But, yeah, he didn't have the greatest playoffs this year. But he was 50, 40, 90 last year. Like, come on.
At 7 feet tall.
At 36 or whatever he is. Like, that's awesome.
Unreal.
Number 5.
My number 4 is Kevin Durant. Everything you said is totally true. Absolute beast. Age is like fine wine, man. He just gets smoother every year.
Yeah.
He doesn't get worse. He might lose his quickness, but he is getting smoother. That little float tween into the pull-up, ugh, that is disgusting.
He's still going to pull up in your face every
Still
time.
going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make that my own move. I'm trying to steal it from him.
Yeah, but like when you're not 7 foot, it's kind of difficult.
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
The move becomes a lot different.
I would say so.
A lot different reads.
My number 4 is Luka Doncic. Luka is hard because like you kind of want to dock him for like missing the playoffs this past year. You know, he was still first team All NBA this year with not even making the playoffs, which is just like that don't be happening with anybody. Luka I think has been 3 times first team All NBA in his 4 years in the NBA, or has he been 5 years now? I don't know. Either way, his rookie year was the only year he wasn't first team All NBA. He's been first team every other year, which is just crazy. But I think that, you know, it's not like Luka, if he would have got to the playoffs, I think he would have like still played well. Like we know he is a great player.
He would have averaged 35 a game.
Exactly. And I think that it would have kind of changed things. It's just the Mavs kind of threw in the white flag towards the end of the season there, which was like unfortunate that they did that.
Those two. Threw in the white flag. You usually throw in the towel.
Oh, yeah.
And you usually wave the
white
flag.
Yeah, that's what I did. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, he waved the towel. But yeah, Luka's number 4. Top 3 play. We had the same top 3. That's cool.
Yeah, we do. That's awesome. My number
assume it's the
3 is Steph Curry.
Yes.
Shout out the number 1 PG, undisputed. Nobody can touch this guy. Well, I guess you might think Luka can touch him almost. Can you? Or do you think it's undisputed?
I think it's undisputed
Okay.
right now. But like it's gonna happen.
Oh,
obviously.
yeah. No question. But right now, Steph,
it's
there's no
undisputed.
argument.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, number 1 point guard in the league. Most polarizing basketball player we've seen.
Yeah, my number 3 is Steph Curry to this day. Like if I need a dude to play on my team, give me Steph Curry. Like that dude is just he's not going to stop. And I think I made my early MVP pick was Steph Curry. And I think he totally is capable of doing it. So he's number 3.
My number 2 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is the first year since he won his first MVP that I have not had him as the number 1 player in the NBA. Giannis is still that guy.
Yeah.
He's still going to clamp you up. He's still going to block everything. He's going to dunk on your face over and over and over again. Giannis is that guy. My number 1 is Nikola Jokic, the real MVP. Not really.
You're the real MVP.
But like, if we were doing a full overarching season where it encompasses regular season and playoffs, Jokic would have been the MVP.
Yeah. Yeah, Giannis is number 2, and Nikola Jokic is the undisputed number 1 best player in basketball. I guess like you could argue that Giannis is number 1, like maybe just because he kind of had that number 1 trophy the last several years. Him and Jokic really do have like similar career arcs going for them. You know, each have multiple MVPs, each have won a finals, with legendary finals runs. Giannis does have like the depoy, which obviously helps, but they're similar in age. Both like weren't crazy top picks, you know, so like they definitely have like similar career arcs. Imagine if they like played together.
I don't want to imagine. That'd be ugly.
Oh, that'd be fun
ugly
because they're both like
team.
so fun dudes. Too.
Oh yeah,
like,
and they'd just be laughing the whole time.
You
They would throw their 6th lob of the
Yeah.
game and just be smiling.
Giannis has got this weird like thing going on where he might like not like is he gonna leave Milwaukee?
Dude, they said
I think he has a year. I think he has 2 years left on the deal.
Anthony wants out.
Really?
Yeah, he said
I thought he just re-signed with them.
But he said something about like one day I don't want to like I
Oh
want to
no,
go.
I think
and,
I want to go
play.
like play somewhere. Yeah,
Like
I did
want to
see
be
that.
like a
Yeah.
player somewhere.
Uh-huh.
I think I can do that.
Yeah, I think it was more just calling out like Milwaukee. Yeah.
Dude, you're getting money because your brother.
Yeah, exactly. And Alex Antetokounmpo just signed with them too.
Well,
yeah.
what a great move. Oh, you might want to leave? Well, let's sign
Let's
both
get
of your
boys.
brothers.
Where's Costas at? Where's he
Let's get the
playing
whole
at? Let's get
family.
the other one. So yeah, there's our top 25 players in the NBA.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
What do we do here?
I don't know. Like this is like the send off.
And that's what we discussed this when we've known about this for how many episodes?
A while, like at least like 7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah,
It's been like a good 2 months.
Yeah, I let Kyle know way in advance so we could begin to plan everything.
Right. We didn't really like plan anything though.
No, and I meant just like prepare.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is gonna happen.
Right.
This is going on. Well, I guess first thing I want to say is thank you. Like you this has been something that you and I started, so long
your
ago.
senior year in high school.
In the basement.
Yeah.
Like with a little card. I still remember the first podcast. Mom,
I do too.
took the picture of us for our.
We did our NBA predictions episode.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
God,
And
the audio is so bad.
it sounds like we're talking into barrels, like in the mics at the bottom of the barrel. So first, thank you. Like that, this has been so much fun to do, and it's so cool to see like that. Now you're going to continue doing things similar, even like being on the radio.
Right.
It's just awesome, and you're now working in sports media at CMU, and it's so awesome. And I appreciate you for so much more that you've done for me than the podcast. You've been like a big brother to me since I've been very young. We've known each other for so long. I remember that first year me and you played JV basketball together.
Oh
and
yeah.
it was
gonna make me get emotional.
it was the best, man. You have been so important in my life. Made me a better coach, a better friend, better family member every single step of the way. And I appreciate you being around for so long and continuing to be around. And I will be right here on your side.
Totally. I mean, we got football to watch every Sunday.
We got football
It's
to
not
watch
like
every
this
Sunday.
is like we're never seeing each other again.
Yep.
Yeah. I now want to thank you for being such a good co-host of mine. Like you bring the energy to every podcast, even days where I'm like not even like feeling it. Like you always bring the hype and being yourself. And it was like you bring the perfect balance to my like low keyness. Like you kind of bring the craziness to the podcast, which we need. And like I said, this is not going to be the end of you on the podcast. Like when I do trivia and stuff or games and everything, fantasy episodes, like if you got a time where you can be available to do it, like you're there. So
for sure.
but yeah, this has been so much fun. And yeah, this is just like, it's weird that this is like over.
Last piece. Thank you to everybody who's listened to us for so long now. I mean, I know, like shout out Jordan Weber.
Yeah.
I've coached you. I've done so much with you and I love you, buddy. You're an awesome kid. And thank you to everybody else who's listened, commented, tossed ideas at us. Any friends, family. I mean,
Everyone that's
shout out
on.
Aiden Case.
Yep. Yeah,
Man.
made our logo for us.
Made our logo so long
Fire
ago.
logo, yeah.
It looks so good in your vehicle. Like you watch your podcast in the vehicle and you got a display screen. The logo looks crazy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thanks everyone that's been on the podcast. But yeah, my plan, my future for the podcast. So I'm gonna be doing I'm not like turning this into like a fantasy podcast, but like the weekly episode is going to be a fantasy central podcast. Where I video it. I'm gonna have guys on. Like I said, if you like have time where you want to come on it and it's gonna be recapping the fantasy week basically. So I'm gonna be doing that most of the time with another guest, I would assume, as much as I can try to. And then I think I'm going to do one audio only episode a week where I recap everything else that's going on in sports, where I'm going to mainly talk about the Lions, try to do it right after the Lions game, talk about what happened with the Lions, and then if there's anything else going on, I'll talk about that as well. Once NBA and everything starts back up, I'll figure something out with that. But at least until, end of October, for the next month and a half, it's going to be fantasy weekly episode that you see on YouTube, and then one episode a week that's probably just going to be audio only because I'm like alone, and I just like feel like I don't need to record myself.
No, and I don't think that's weird.
It'd just be like I just be like sitting here like by myself, like, and it's just I can just like sit in my bed and do it then, so it's like, so yeah, that the one audio, I'll probably have one audio only episode a week as well. And I think I might just start doing a lot more. Like if I just feel like talking about something for 20 minutes, I might just like record it and just like post it.
Almost do like one off, like almost specific podcast.
Yeah,
like really
exactly.
get into the nitty gritty.
Like that's and I think about stuff like that all the time, and I'll just write it down, and I'll just like forget about it later. So I might just start doing that as well. So yeah, that is it. Anything else that we need to cover?
I don't think so. This has been an awesome ride.
Yep,
been awesome.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Lions tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Watch them. Go Lions. And once again, thank you to Easton, and peace.
Thank you, Brody. Peace.